And I'm doing some streaming here, coloring this fine page with some Supracolor Soft watercolor pencils in a very ham-fisted very not talented way, but I'm learning, I guess, some as I go along, some of the nuances of working with these guys, and I do like them. They're really nice. And this page is a special page for me because obviously it's a full page. And it's fairly detailed and complicated, so it takes a bit of effort to color it. And I'm hoping this is kind of a payoff, right, for the reader, and the reader's like, ooh, wow, when they see it. We'll see. We'll see. So I hope everybody's having a good Wednesday out there in the internet land. That sounds dumb. I do hope that you're having a good day, though. That's not dumb. That's good. Good that you're having a good day. So, I have 2 kids that are school age, and my son will be starting high school next year. Whew, which is crazy for me to think about, because it seems like yesterday he was just starting school, just starting kindergarten. But you know, as any parent can tell you, it goes by way too fast. So, but the reason why I mentioned my kids is my daughter is on a field trip today, and it is a beautiful, beautiful day, and I'm sure she's going to have fun. And what's even better is that my wife got to go with her on her field trip, which is not something she gets to do very often. So, very cool. So I'm glad, happy for them. Glad they're getting to have some mommy-daughter time. Good for them. So, cool. So that's kind of what's going on in my life. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm kind of trying to figure out this, how I want to color this, what colors I want to use, and so on. But I don't think doing the hatching kind of stroke works as well as just laying it on its side for these watercolor pencils. It puts a little too much texture in, I think. Anyway, we'll throw this down here and we'll see what it looks like. That's a good thing about it. You know, you activate it with water, you take a look at it, and then you can say, well, I want to add some more layers, and you can go back in and add some more layers. And if you're working with good pencils, like I'm working with these Caran Supracolor pencils, these are good pencils. They're expensive, but they're worth the money as far as quality goes. They're top drawer. So no gripes there on the quality front. Yeah, so this will make kind of a muddy, hopefully a muddy green kind of color. This color looks very orange now, but when you activate it with the water, it really goes yellow. Let's go ahead and activate it and see what we got here. Yeah, I didn't put quite enough in there, but that's alright. A little bit in there. I don't want to be too precious here because come out and out of there. Try to get that one stroke out of there. There we go. I think I got it. Because these trees they're in the distance, they're not going to, you know, and that's just all that they are. They're something in the distance, but not something that you necessarily need to be very interested in, or something that moves the story along or anything like that. So, you know, I don't have to be overly concerned with their appearance. Just have to kind of lay them in here. I'm slouchy today. Try to sit up straight. I've noticed this. I've always slouched though. Used to slouch a lot worse. People actually laugh at how I sat in chairs because I didn't so much sit in a chair, but I kind of laid in it. You know, when I was doing design work, I guess I wanted to be comfortable. I don't know, but I try not to do that now. It's too hard on the back to maintain that slouchy posture all the time. So I'm noticing mistakes as I go along here, like in how the objects overlay, but honestly I'm not too tore up about them, because again, this is stuff in the background, and I don't know, I don't feel like it's that important to really warrant spending a lot of time on it. I will kind of line that up. I don't like the way that stroke is there, but it looks like it's pretty well done. Yeah, so yeah, just getting this done here, trying to anyway. That came out nice. I was worried that this was a little too blue. I put a little yellow in there, and that seemed to help that out quite a bit. Again, I'm kind of I'm new to the whole watercolor pencil experience, and so I'm kind of learning techniques as I go along, which is the best way for me to learn. I've tried to just do like you know, scribble around and stuff and try to figure it out. That never works for me. I actually just have to do a project that's for real in order to learn how to do this stuff. You always encounter things in a real project that you just don't encounter any other way. And so for me, it's the best way to learn how to do a new thing, is just go ahead and try it in a project. And if it doesn't work out, then, well, okay, you know it doesn't work out, and you can move on and try something different. Like, I've tried several different ways of coloring this particular comic, and it's really been crazy making. That's how I would put it, crazy making. But I think I finally hit on the way forward here with it. It's probably still a little, yeah, it's still too wet to really work with. Use some little scribbles down here. Warm it up a little bit. I tried coloring this just digitally, and it's okay. You know, it looks okay, but it lacked, I don't know, it lacked something, and so I decided I needed to revisit some, you know, analog methods. And originally I had really wanted to do this in colored pencil, you know, just colored pencil, but it just takes so long to do in colored pencil. So I want to make this a little more splotchy than it was. It's so smooth the last time. It didn't kind of job well with this other side. I tried it. I tried actually this page in colored pencil. So here's the page in colored pencil, completely colored. And it's okay, and I like it, but you see the values are just, yeah. And I've been mostly pleased with how this has turned out. The value part of the equation is there. So again, I'm starting to do that kind of hatching stroke that doesn't work as well. So let me get back on the edge here. You know, the value contrast is very important. If you're talking about being able to read something quickly, you really need to have some good contrast in the value. The value contrast is what's going to push that quick reading. That's why, you know, as a graphic designer, when I would do a logo type, it always had to work in black and white. It didn't matter how many colors it could be, it had to work in black and white, otherwise it's just not a successful logo. I see a lot of logos today that really rely on color, and it's not going to be as strong. And I can remember seeing examples of like Rand Paul's work where, you know, he'd do these experiments where he'd photograph a bus going by with one of his logos on it, and just to see if you could still read it, you know, even though the bus was passing by and the motion distorted it, you could still tell what it was. And that's, yeah, he was a master. I said Rand Paul, didn't I? Not Rand Paul, Paul Rand. Rand Paul's the politician guy. Wow. Well, that's two different it's two different characters. Yeah. No, Paul Rand, who did the Fortune magazine covers and did the IBM logo. He did a logo for Steve Jobs for his next computers. And that's a cool story. Steve Jobs said, yeah, why don't you give me, you know, 3 variations and I'll look at them. And he's like, no, I won't do that. He said, you have a problem. You have a visual problem. I will solve it and you will pay me. And Steve Jobs like, okay. And it was definitely a very successful logo. Next Computers, although the company wasn't very successful. Not by Jobsian standards. Yeah, Next Computers. Next Computers or Next Computing? Anyway, cool logo. But again, color, black and white, however how, you know, that logo appears, you can definitely tell that that's what it is. I miss graphic design. I still get to do a bit here and there, but it's, you know, it's different. It's not the same. A lot of people are just a lot more content to, you know, go with some kind of clip art or just something kind of lame. It's just, there's no respect for the craft, that's for sure. And people want everything for free. It's a hard business now. Hard business. It's just kind of sad, but you know, that's the way it goes. It's the way it goes. You know, you things change. Things change. It's not always for the better. But people learn how to survive and even thrive amongst that kind of thing, right? So even though the graphic design profession is not as vibrant as it once was, it still, you know, exists at least. I worked at a print shop at a university which no longer exists, you know, just quit. You know, sad. That was really sad. That place had been there for 50 years, and it's at a university, so it's not like, you know, we had to operate on a break-even basis. We couldn't be profitable because it wasn't allowed. Literally wasn't allowed to be profitable. I never understood that, how that works, but yeah, 50 years of business and then closing up. So, you know, things like that are sad, but they happen all the time. So, gotta keep your options open, right? Don't put all your eggs in one basket, etc., etc. I think our country's, we've seen the unipolar moment in our country, and now we're going to be in decline, I'm afraid. And I'm not relishing that, but you know, I'm accepting of it. I just really don't like the background of this. Just didn't. It's just not. Just because I went with green in the far background, and that's really messing everything up now. And I'm thinking, well, can I put some purple in there? I'm thinking, no, it's just gonna make it muddy if I do that. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to push the background too much, you know. But the only thing I can do is add more color to the paper. I can't. I can't take it away. You know, it sits down. So now I'm going to have to fix it by adding more color, which means everything's going to have to go green now. Nothing is going to be blue, and it's just going to be varying shades, varying warmth of green, and varying values of green. But the thing is, when you add more color, you're deepening the value too, inevitably. So, well, such is life. So that'll warm that up, and it'll pop a little bit forward in front of the blue, which can't remain blue, unfortunately. Let's get this orange yellow, and we'll hit this with that. It's a really lazy day for me today. I've had trouble getting started. I started good. You know, early this morning I started out strong. But then it's like, I don't know, I hit a funk and started watching stupid YouTube videos. And I always hate that. You know, I hate getting sucked into stupid. I hope I'm not doing a stupid YouTube video, because I really hate getting sucked into those. And I suspect that I may be doing stupid YouTube videos. If I am, I apologize. And please don't watch my videos if they're stupid YouTube videos, because you've got so many better things you could do with your time than watch me. That's for sure. I have no doubt that there are better things for you to do than watch me. So please don't watch me if and I hope you're not watching. I do these live streams, you know, at this time of day because that's when I can do them. So, you know, I have family time in the evenings, and so I hope that, honestly, don't know that I want people to watch it now, unless they're maybe in a foreign country and they're off of work and, you know, relaxing at home or something. But, you know, if you're just watching it because you're bored, please go out and do something. If you're in the Western Hemisphere and it's sunshine, and go out and do something. I know I would. Well, I didn't this morning though, right? It was just like, oh, what's this video? They were just dumb videos too, like just people talking about the most asinine, boring things that you can imagine. And I mean that like literally, like I watched that, you know, I felt a little unclean after watching it. It's just like, I cannot believe that I used some of the life that God gave me to watch that. I don't get that time back ever. Which meanwhile, I'm trying to finish this dumb book. You know, and I could have spent an hour working on this rather than watching those dumb YouTube videos. But I don't know, YouTube has an addictive, pernicious, sinister power to just draw you into these really stupid things that you just don't have any interest in. Why am I even on YouTube trying to promote my work? It's like I'm just adding to the problem. So sorry, my apologies for the amount of your life that you've wasted watching me do this, but hopefully you'll find something redeeming about it. But I didn't find anything redeeming about those videos. It was like videos of grown men complaining about Star Wars, or, you know, this comic book or that comic book. It's just dumb. Good grief. You know? I don't understand the whole hating on Star Wars thing. That's like popular in geek culture. I see the Star Wars movies and I enjoy them. I think they're fun, and the last one was I will say the last one was a bit preachy. But you know what? I mean, it's just the nature of our times. People have to virtue signal and yes, here I am. We're cool. Yeah, we're into that. So I get that, and I don't enjoy it as entertainment. You know, who would, right? And that's kind of, well, anyway, I won't even get into that rabbit trail, but I enjoy all of the Star Wars movies, and I really don't understand why they're so horrible. Maybe it's my expectations, right? So I'm not expecting it to be Citizen Kane or whatever it is these guys are expecting, or I'm not expecting to feel like I did in 1976 or 77, whenever it came out. See, I don't even know. I guess I'm just not I guess if you're a Star Wars super fan, but why? I don't know. I guess I just don't understand fandom, period. Kind of like I don't understand people who like make children of their pets and treat them like they're children instead of treating them like they're pets. Unless they don't have children, then I understand. But I love my pets. We've got a really nice cat, and I love him. I'd be sad if he were gone. However, you know, he's nothing compared to my children, obviously. I don't know how I got on that. Good grief. But anyway, I love pets. Don't get me wrong. You know what it is? I tell you what it is. What it is I'm thinking about those Star Wars complaining guys, and it's making me a little irritable. So I'm sorry. Sorry for that. That was just a little. Hopefully that's just a little burp, a little blip. Yesterday I was just impossible to live with. Just mad about everything. I don't know. I'm hormonal or something, I guess. It's only my only explanation for it. It's like, dang, I mean, what is wrong? I kept asking myself that, what is wrong? And I'm like, well, nothing's wrong. Life is really good, and I'm happy. My family's happy. We're all healthy. Yeah, there's nothing to see here, but just, you know, driving down, up and down. We've got this highway, and it is like the worst place to drive in the world. And it's just, you know, I know what it is. I'm ready for summer. I'm ready for my kids to get out of school. I'm ready for us to do some fun things like camping and going to the beach and so on. And I'm just getting a little spring fever, getting a little antsy about it. I'm ready to move on into life here. Start living life. Kids are definitely feeling the spring fever. Everybody's feeling it. We're all feeling it. We're all in the midst of it. We're all angsty and hard to deal with a bit. Me probably worse than anybody else, but so I don't know. It kind of helps to kind of identify it, you know. I feel like, yeah, that's probably what it is. So now I can be more aware of it. Maybe not be so hard to get along with. I only have, after this week, 3 weeks. 3 weeks my kids will be in school, and they'll be done for the summer, and we can have some fun times together. Okay, kind of looking at that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm just going to keep going. You know, I like to look at it on the screen too, because it's sort of like flipping it. You know, if I were doing this digitally, I'd flip it every once in a while just to kind of look and see where it's going. But yeah, I think that's going to be all right. On the screen, obviously, it's a lot smaller, so it kind of gives me a little of that sense of, you know, changing the perspective, giving me a fresh view. Now, you have to have a fresh view when you're doing a drawing or a painting, and and especially if you're having to work on it for an extended period of time, like I'm having to do on this. You really need that kind of step back. You know, when I was in college and I was working on a big drawing, I would step back, look at it, say, okay, so what needs to happen here? You know, you can ask yourself some questions and figure it out. It's a little more difficult with the small drawing like this. You know, sometimes people will hold it up to the light and kind of look through the back side, and that can be good. In fact, when I do that, it's like, yeah, some of the things, you know, look really weird when I do that. It's like my tree looks really strange, but not a lot I can do about that one aspect now. I drew this digitally on my iPad Pro in the program Procreate, and you know, anybody that's into digital art probably knows about Procreate. I'm surprised I don't see more comic book people using it, because it's great for drawing. You know, it's much better than drawing on a Cintiq, and I definitely would defend that. I've got a Cintiq, and granted it's very old, but it's still, there's just this parallax problem with the Cintiqs that just doesn't exist on the iPad and the Apple Pencil, and it makes it, I just can't use it for drawing. It's great for painting, because you don't have to be as precise when you're painting as when you're drawing. And by that, you know, let me qualify that. When you're drawing things like this, where I'm going over the same line, or I'm trying to meet, like if I'm drawing a circle and I'm trying to meet myself at the end, accuracy is just so important. And if your pencil, if your tool isn't accurate, even a little, you're thrown off a bit. And it's like, yeah, it wasn't exactly where I wanted that line. I wanted that line a little bit over here, but this pushed it over there. So that's a little frustrating to deal with, as I'm sure you can imagine. Now on this side, I will put a bit of yellow. This side is more in the light, but I'm going to be very light with this yellow because the yellow is powerful. When you activate it, it's like, bam, here I am, I'm yellow. I'm yellow. So I'm going to be a little cautious with that. But I need a little yellow in here. Dun dun dun! Yeah, see how that just went BAM! Yellow! Yellow! A little too yellow for sure, but and that's so funny because normally when you're working with yellow, I find it to be a real easy color to get too little of, like it's the value of yellow is so light, a lot of times it just wants to fade in the background. Now it's I don't know, now I feel like my tree is starting to fade a little bit in the background instead of popping back out. So I might have to do some more bluing around the edges of the tree here. Let's try that. See, again, the value here is going to get really dark, which is something I maybe don't want. So I don't know. It's decisions. I'm trying to scribble a bit, trying to get these sides to match a little bit better. They're not really meshing together, in my opinion. But anyway, I got a long way to go on this, so I probably should just kind of cut my losses and get going with this because I've got a long way to go. I could take some of this blue. Yes, that's a little too damp to work on. Let's just hold on, guys. So I've still got all the little panes of glass to do, so let's just do them. This is obviously going to take a while. Yeah. So I just thought it'd be cool if the windows were stained glass, because this is a fancy place. The story behind this place is that this is a forest in this kingdom, and the king of this kingdom, he was kind of an amateur naturalist, and he heard about this tree that was made of stone that was in the forest, and so he went out and they found it. They found this tree, and yes, it was in fact petrified, and he thought, well, he was very interested in the forest and to see what else maybe he could find in there, so he decided to study the forest by spending his free time living in this tree. So he commissioned some artisans and some builders, and they hollowed the tree out. Could have already been hollow, I suppose, it being old tree. Either way, they built a nice home for the king inside the tree, so that he's free to or was free to study the tree and the forest as much as he liked. To get away, it's kind of like his Camp David, you know. Well, the king died, and one of his proclamations before he passed was that a new position in the court be created for the royal forester. And the royal forester is a guy who he lives in this tree and he takes care of the forest. He makes sure that everything is you know, the trees are in good health, and the people who live there are doing well. There's a group of people called the forest folk that make their home in the forest, and they're not a part of the king's kingdom, as far as they're not ruled by the king. They're independent, free people that live in the forest, and they have a relationship with the kingdom, you know, mutual beneficial type thing. And they actually helped construct the place. They helped find materials and you know, just helped build it. And so that's the story behind this unusual home. And one of our protagonists in the story, he is now the official forester, and he lives inside this tree. That's where he makes his home. And like the king before him, and like the foresters before him, he enjoys his job and loves the forests and the animals of the forest. And he, you know, does his level best to try and take good care of them. He doesn't let people harvest trees until it's just the right time. Just keeps an eye on things. And this one particular forester, he's really well respected by both the community of people who live in the kingdom and by the forest folk. So I hear my phone in the background, lots of text stuff. So I don't know, I'm gonna have to check on that. So just excuse me for a second. I'll see what's going on. Trip, and she just took the leap of faith. Oh my goodness, it looks pretty crazy. Where you jump, you know, for the trapeze. I cannot believe she did that. Where is she? Oh my goodness. She did it. Wow, that is very cool. She did the leap of faith. That's very neat. Very neat. Sorry, anyway. That was definitely worth the break, though. Taking the leap of faith. Leap of faith. So yeah, that's the story behind the house and who lives there. And yes. So I don't think anyone is watching today, but that's okay. Like I've said it before, I don't I don't do this so that people will watch necessarily. It's just I do it because I'm going to be here drawing anyway, and it's really easy to do. You just turn it on basically, and then I'm just talk. And even when I'm not, I'll let you in on a little secret, even when I'm not streaming, I talk like this anyway, so and a little weird, a little strange, a little strange. But I've always wanted to be Bob Ross, so here I am, living the dream. Just an indication. Nose is itchy today. I'm bothered with allergies, which I never was before. Before I got old, I never had problems with allergies. My brother and my dad, both big time allergies, but not me. And I thought, well, I've escaped having allergies and I'm going to be good. But now it's like, ugh, this time of year, past maybe 3 years, it's been like an onslaught. Before that, really nothing. No problem with allergies. So thank you, allergies. Thank you. Thanks. I was going to start talking about the Star Wars guys again, but man, I think that's probably not a good idea. I'll get upset again. I mean, you know, everyone's entitled to their opinion. Are they entitled to their opinion? I don't know. But everyone has an opinion, whether they're entitled to it or not. Let's just say that. So these guys have strong opinions about Star Wars. And, well, anyway, I'm just not going to talk about that. I enjoy it for what it's worth. And like, for instance, this book here that I'm doing, this isn't meant to change your life, okay? This is not meant to be dissected like Ulysses or To Kill a Mockingbird or something. I mean, this is just, it's something fun to look at and read, you know, give it to your kids to read when you're on a trip, or read it at bedtime and have fun. That's what it's about. It's not meant to change your life. The only way I hope it would change your life is maybe you do read it with your kids and you spend time with them and that changes your life. That would be great. You know, maybe as a facilitation for spending time with each other. That can definitely change your life in a very positive way. Yeah, you got all those little squares done, except for one. One square stands, but not for long. Die square. Now all the squares are filled in, so I can finish coloring this. This should be dry now, so let's put a little blue in there. Let's put a little blue in here, baby. Man, it's a little too yellow, man. You need a little blue in there to knock that back a little bit, man. Just put a little blue in there. It'll knock it back. Make a little green instead of a little yellow there, man. You wanna knock that back, man. Okay, knock it back. That's not very good Elvis. I sometimes can do a really good Elvis, but that was not an example of my good Elvis. So bad Elvis. Bad Elvis. Beep 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 beep. So yes, I wish people approached entertainment more as entertainment instead of trying to get these huge life lessons from it or something. I think what it is, though, is that being a very materialistic society, we look for value because postmodern thought says there are no values, but we hunger for them. So we start putting values everywhere because they're not where they're supposed to be. And we put value on things that really have no value because we've taken all that value away. Because if there's no truth, then there's no values. And that's the postmodern belief. No truth, no meaning. Sad. I mean, people are so desperate. People are desperate for meaning. And it's just sad. It's so sad to see, especially young people. You know, they want meaning so bad, but they're hell-bent on doing what they want to do. And so they push all the, you know, I don't know, they're just getting some bad information, in my opinion. You know, there is no truth, there is no value in existence. I mean, just really cruddy stuff that's, you know, some of these postmodern ideas are just really, really cruddy. So, you know, life has to have meaning if you're to live it at all. Because life is very painful and difficult, and so to live it without any meaning is just a non-starter. And yet, you know, people embrace that idea that, well, there isn't any meaning. And I'm not quite sure why they think that, because the people who espouse these beliefs, they don't live as if there's no meaning. So how did the guy get to be a college professor? By having a sincere belief that there's no meaning. So he spent all his time studying and working hard and trying to be successful as a college professor, so he could tell you that life has no meaning. So, I mean, yes, life has meaning. It does. And if it doesn't, what does it matter if you believe it does, right? So, if you live your life on the assumption that life has meaning when it really doesn't, you're not any worse off. So, and you can definitely make the argument that you're better off. So why not go that route? That would be my advice to the postmodernists out there. Ditch your postmodernism and start treating life as if it does matter, and you might be surprised to find that it really does matter. This is going to be hard to color all this because it's going to want to. Oh, be careful about the colors actually blending together. They're so close together. I have to use a really dry brush to keep that from happening. I'm going to go back in and put a little bit of a grid in there anyway, but know, I drift and ramble when I draw. I'm sorry to afflict you with it. And I talk like I know what I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm talking about. Postmodernism and all this stuff. I have no idea what any of that's about. So don't listen to me. I'm just an ignorant hick. I don't know what I'm talking about. And that is true. That is accurate. But for some reason I just can't shut up. I just want to say, yeah, well, listen everybody. That's so, and I really hate that about myself, because that's like the most useless thing about me, you know. It's the thing that I've got lots of good qualities that really are good, and that would be very helpful to people, but that is not one of them. And I keep doing that. So I'm going to really make an effort to. I wish I had not done that. So I went right from a red square to a green square. I mean, good grief. Why did I do that? So now my green square looks kind of weird and muddy instead of vibrant like a stained glass panel would look. Oh well. Them's the breaks. No, so I've got no business commenting on politics or academia or any of that stuff, because I'm clueless. And that's just the truth. I'm clueless about that stuff, man. I don't know what's going on in universities and whatnot. And honestly, I really don't even care. I don't care what's going on. People believe people have always believed all kinds of crazy stuff. And they're not going to stop on my account. And, so most people grow out of that kind of thing anyway. I mean, I know I did. I was interested in all that philosophical mumbo jumbo when I was in college. And, I grew out of it. The watershed moment for me was seeing how many philosophers I kind of respected, or I thought I should respect, committed suicide or died insane or just had this debauched, terrible life. It's like, well, you're taking life advice from someone who committed suicide. Does that make sense? They were completely unsuccessful at living life. I mean, literally, they were unsuccessful at living life. And so now you're going to get truth and how to live and from someone who failed at it. It's not the person you want to take life advice from. That makes sense to me. That would be maybe not the best way to go about that, but anyway. And as I got older, I thought, really, this stuff is dumb. Honestly, a lot of what they're saying is just kind of dumb. And I don't understand it anyway, because I'm too stupid to understand it. Why am I bothering reading this stuff? It's not really impressing anyone. It's what I really thought, was that it would impress people if I read Nietzsche and stuff, because I read that Jim Morrison was a big fan. So I thought, well, Jim Morrison was cool, I'll be cool too. And then I realized that doesn't make you cool. Reading that stuff just makes you an a-hole. I'm convinced that Nietzsche was probably an a-hole, and no one liked him, and he probably wandered around the countryside wondering why no one liked him. And people were kinder then and didn't want to tell him. And they probably argued about it. No, you tell him. No, you tell him. And then in the end, no one told him, you know, Frederick, the reason why no one likes you is you're an a-hole. No one was, you know, willing to do that. Like, yeah, you know, Frederick really is kind of an a-hole. I hope that doesn't hurt my family friendliness saying that. I told my kids yesterday that I accidentally said the S word on my stream. And my daughter was really, she's like, what? Why did you do that? Why did you do that? Like, well, I just wasn't thinking. Which I wasn't. I was just ranting around. I've been on a rant lately. Rant. Rant. Let's rant. What else can we rant about? Boy, howdy. This is the perfect place to do that. The internet is where you want to do all your ranting. Rant culture. That should be a thing. I'm sure it probably is a thing, and I'm just not aware of it. Ranting feels good to us, though, doesn't it? I mean, we like to just get a good rant in, and especially if somebody says, "Yeah, that's right," you're just like, "Yes." They know what's up. My people know what's up. But really, why rant about? Honestly, what do I have to rant about? The 2 cars that are in my garage, the roof over my head. I mean, really, I'm incredibly blessed. I have nothing to rant about. My life is a complete piece of cake, and some gratitude would be in order for me. You know, I don't know about you. You may have a really hard life, and if you do, you certainly have my apologies and my sympathy, but I have a really great life. And I'm not going to let the stupidity of internet culture make me lose sight of that. So go enjoy Star Wars when it comes out. Don't say boycott it or whatever, or George Lucas ruined my childhood or whatever. Just grow up. You live in the richest, most blessed country on the face of the planet. Grow up. Grow up. Another rant. A rant. Now that was a new level of ranting, though. That was a rant about a rant. So, ranting against ranting. So that ought to be like kind of an atomic level rant. So, well, it's been an hour. Wow, that hour went by really quick. So, I feel like I didn't make a whole lot of progress, although I did get all those little panes of glass colored in. And I'll finish this up off stream. And I like to take a break about every hour or so, get up and move around. But before I do, I'm going to show you something different. And this may make the whole stream worthwhile. I don't know. So let me set this aside. One last look there. Set this aside here. Okay, so These are not boots. This is just a boot box. But inside the boot box are these. Comic books. These are comic books I had as a kid that I just thoroughly enjoyed, and I thought I'd share a few of them with you. I think the box is going to be a little too close to the camera maybe to really see, so I'll just show you how it's like, you know, they're in this crazy boot box, because I'm not a comic book collector. I'm a comic book lover. I love comic books. I love reading them. So like this one, you know, no cover. It's got I wrote my name on the margin here. Look how dirty that is. Isn't that cool? But look at this. Look at that drawing. Isn't that great? It's got some screen tone applied to it, which is not something American guys did a lot, but this was a really nice comic. And so this, I think Marvel put this out, the Dark Crystal Super Special, based on the movie The Dark Crystal. I really like that movie. Look at this artwork. Here's a picture of one of the creepy, weird characters. Gelflings. What a weird name. See, I don't see any credits. The credits for the artists must have been on the cover, which is sad because the art is really great. Very European looking. I wonder if maybe a European guy didn't have something to do with this. Could have been. But here's some more pictures from the film. I got to see the movie when I was a kid. It's pretty awesome. Huh. Pretty awesome. I need to watch it again. This was a Jim Henson thing. You know, Jim Henson, he did the Muppets, and then he did this Dark Crystal movie. I really loved it. So yeah, Dark Crystal. Here's an issue of 2000 AD. It's a British comic. I was disappointed to find that it was in black and white, but I thought, well, I'll read it anyway. And it's a good read. You know, it's fun. I like the size and the format. The stories were very the stories didn't take themselves too seriously, which I really appreciated. You know, American comics by this time have gotten so serious, and these are just fun, and they're of course they're science fiction, which is fun. And you've got this German barbarian guy that he was fun. I just kind of remembering he had a big, huge warhammer. Lots of fun. Lots of fun. So, 2000 AD. I think I got that at a flea market. If I had a comic book, it either came from a flea market or from a grocery store, not a comic book shop. So, this is Comics Feature Magazine. $1.75. Can you believe that they could sell a magazine this big and thick for less than $2? Didn't have much color in it though. It was mostly black and white. This has a little piece on the Simonsons. A little color spread. So probably be interesting to read this article. I was a big Walt Simonson fan at the time, so yep, there's that. And then had a whole bunch of comics like this. All-Star Squadron. It's a nice Joe Kubert cover. Another Kubert cover. He did a lot of the covers for these, but not the interior art. But I like this. I didn't usually like teen books, but I really liked this teen book here. So Jerry Ordway did a lot of the interior art for this, and he was, you know, did a good job. He did a good job with it. Just sort of your basic kind of ham and eggs. Artwork, you know, just solid. Like these. These were good. What else have I got here? Oh yeah, here's a blast from the past. Captain Carrot. I loved this comic book. When I was a kid, I loved reading this comic book. It was just a lot of fun. And Swamp Thing. Oh my gosh. I saw that in the movie theater. It was a Wes Craven film? I did not know that. Yes, I saw that in the theater. So this was in 1982. And I would have been 11 years old. 11 years old when I saw Swamp Thing in the movie theater. So, for an 11-year-old, look at this character, Jailhouse Rock, R-O-C. That is so funny. Yeah, and I really hated her character because she was stuck up. Yankee Poodle. Anyway. Yeah. Oh. Thor. The mighty Thor. Loved the Simonson run of Thor. This, unfortunately, was not part of that. But the art is really good. I mean, check out this Mephisto stuff here. Who did the art in this? Oh, John Buscema, of course. Look at that. Isn't that great? He had changed, by this time he had changed up his style a bit and looked a little more Kubrick-ish. Not as Buscema-ish. But you could still see, you know, look at that. That's a Buscema hand right there. Buscema? I hope I'm saying his name right. I'm hoping saying all these guys' names right. I don't hear their names very often, but that's total, complete Buscema right there. I think he worked on Thor a long time ago, didn't he? Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, very good comic. Oh yeah. And this one is why it's in this. This was how I collected comics. A big piece of nasty masking tape, and I mean, this comic is really dog-eared. I loved it. It's the first appearance of Beta Ray Bill, if you know who that is. Anyway, very good comic. I won't bother opening it up, but Dial H for Hero. Now this was a cool concept. People could write in their heroes and their villains. So like here, for instance, the Sphinx was created by David Weil, age 18, NS Canada. Nova Scotia? I don't know, where is that? Oh my gosh, look at this ad. Are you too short? William A. Reldna says, you can add 2 to 4 inches in 10 weeks or less. Look at that guy. Down there at the bottom. Yes, 2 to 4 inches can make all the difference in the world. Isn't that crazy? That's crazy. So yeah, so the concept was that you created these heroes, and Carmine Infantino did the art for this, and I'm probably slaughtering his name too. Let's see if I see his no credit. Look, no credit anywhere in here. No credit for the artist in here so far. Let's see if it. So far, nothing. Nothing. So that was the end of that story. No, there was no credit for the artist. It's pretty wild. Sad. An issue of Batman I got because I like Man-Bat. Because he's creepy and scary looking. Right, so That's why I liked him. And so is this not? So this actually has some credits for the artist. And it should, because the art's great. Don Newton. Don Newton. So he did a good job. Superpowers. Oh yeah. These were cool too. And this is where we started getting into the Baxter paper and this crazy coloring in the late 80s. Pretty neat. And this is some of Kirby's last work here. And you can see that he's sort of I don't know how to characterize it. It doesn't have the same energy, although this has got some echoes of old Kirby, but I have a feeling that whoever inked that has done a lot to it that Kirby maybe didn't intend, but maybe not. Be interesting to see the penciled pages. That's more vintage Kirby looking. You kind of get the sense sometimes he was just throwing stuff at the wall, see what stuck. You know, not really being too serious about it. Actually, I think he might have inked. No, Greg Theakston inked it. See, this is like reminiscent of Kirby. All four of these panels reminiscent of Kirby, but just not quite Kirby. It's just not as not as crazy as Kirby would be. That's more like it. But you know, they probably say, well, you got to draw these guys this particular way. You know, this is a property that has to be, you know, you have to respect what we've done with these characters. Fun story though. I mean, dinosaurs fighting in a city, dark side, all these crazy characters. Very cool. So, and this is the other. So this is like, these are same title but different runs of the same thing, right? So this was a 6-part miniseries. This was a 5-part miniseries that they produced at different times. And he had these kind of cosmic war gods here, but Kirby did not do the art in these, but he did the covers. But the artist tried to be Kirby-esque. You know, I kind of hate that for him, you know, that he had to kind of do that. But I guess he was happy to have a job. But check out this cover, though. Great cover by Kirby. Let's see if this was before, I bet. Yep, a year before. So he was still, shows you what difference a year makes. And of course he's got some good Mike Royer inks there. 3 of 5. Another awesome Kirby cover. More lackluster interior art. Ditko Hulk. Yeah, Steve Ditko doing the art on the Hulk. Of course, doing a good job. I mean, Ditko, what can you say? Everything is wonky and weird and absolutely on point. You don't look at a panel and say, well, that's screwed up, or he should have done this, or he should have done that. You think, yeah, that's cool. Ice Warriors. Look at that mace breaking against the Hulk's head here. Very nice. Cool comic. Anyway, so another issue of the Hulk. I think this might be a Buscema, yeah. So wait a minute. So Sal Buscema. Wasn't that John Buscema on this other one? Let's go back and take a look here. Go way back. Yeah. Yeah, John Buscema. I guess they were related, huh? But the art looks so similar. You know, that mouth, he had the Bashima mouth and the Bashima hands, you know, where it'd always be like this. See, there you go. There you go. And this thing is like paper. It's literally about to fall apart. 1980. Look at the rusty staple marks. 1980. So I guess to be, so that's 38 years old. Holding up pretty good. So I won't go through many more of these, but check this out though. Now here's a good example of, so all right, 1980. Look at that thing, ragged as all get out. By the 12-cent price tag, I can tell you this is going to be a lot older. So let's see here. Ooh, 1967. So this is a 1968 issue. 1968. Look how much better condition this is. And it's still called Timely. Animated Timely Features Incorporated. Marvel Comics. Pretty cool. Baron Strucker. Real, you know, consistent panel, 6-panel layouts. Pretty sweet. 1968. Cool. Alright, so that's, I'm not going to go through a lot. I will show you this really cool, one last one, this really cool Captain America annual, which the spine is all jacked up on this really bad, but I really love this comic. This was a curve. See, look at the staple. It's like here in the middle of it. I don't know if I might have tried to restaple the cover back on or something, who knows. But anyway, check that out, man. That art is like, look at this art. Woo! Kirby. Dang! I mean, this is why we say Kirby is so awesome. I mean, just, man, he was at the height of his power. Height of his power when he did this one. So this was Captain America, 1976. I mean, this was at the absolute peak Kirby. Man, just awesome. And there's this one panel. Look at that. Armed. And just this fist. I mean, it just like very, very cool. I'll never, ever get over Kirby. So anyway, that's a good place to end it. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Some art and a little walk down memory lane. And thanks a bunch for watching. This one's went a little longer. So anyway, I hope you guys are well. I got to move the box out of the way so I can stop my stream. No one else to say except enjoy the nice day we have outside, and thanks for watching. See you guys.